Great to have you here today. I'm Na Wong. I'm here with Laura. She's going to lead us in meditation today. It's going to be a great time. After the meditation, I'm going to read one of the 5 Buddhist precepts. And if we want to talk about it, great. If not, contemplation is always good. So, Laura, without any further ado, I know you'd like to get us started and get our somatic enterprises ready for a great meditation. So please, I'm ready. Take us away.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Na Wong. I'm so happy to be here with all of you as always. So we will go ahead and begin by sharing in our daily prayers. And I'm sure you have the link for that. But if you're joining us on YouTube, you can go right to Buddhist Studies Institute.org and then go under courses and daily meditation. And there you will find a listing of the precepts, some resources, and also the daily prayers that we read from. So I hope you'll join us. So let's go ahead and begin. I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. I take refuge in the Lama, Yidam, and Khandro. I take refuge in the channels, winds, centers, and their nature, the bodhicitta. I take refuge in complete openness, lucid presence, and compassion. Mesmerized by the sheer variety of appearances, which are like the illusory reflections of the moon in water. Beings wander endlessly astray in samsara's vicious cycle. In order that they may find comfort and ease in the luminosity and all-pervading space of the true nature of their minds, I generate the immeasurable love, compassion, joy, and equanimity of the awakened mind, the heart of bodhicitta. Sentient beings are numberless. I train in order to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I train in order to transform them. Reality is boundless. I train in order to realize it. The awakened way is unsurpassable. I train in order to embody it. Thank you. And so now we'll go ahead and begin our daily meditation practice by getting into a posture that's really supportive. So we can get into our 7-point posture of Virochana. And so we'll check these points off. If you're seated on the floor, maybe a little extra hip height on a cushion or a towel would be great. Just want the hips a little higher than the knees. That happens pretty naturally in a chair. So if you're in a chair, you could sit cross-legged or you could sit with your feet flat on the ground. And then we want to roll the shoulders back and down so that we're making sure we have a nice broad opening across the chest. And we can imagine a string pulling up right from the crown of the head to elongate the spine, bring space between the vertebrae. And as that happens, allowing that chin to tuck down just a little bit so that you'll feel just a little bit more elongation in the back of the neck. We would like to check to make sure the jaw is relaxed. So that means teeth are not touching, but the jaw instead is separated. The tip of the tongue can rest right behind the front teeth at the top of the palate. Lips can be parted or lightly touching. And then for our gaze in this practice, we're going to follow our gaze in a soft gaze, just right down the bridge of the nose to a point a few feet in front of you on the ground. And again, it is a soft gaze. So we're not staring holes into the floor or anything like that, but we're just letting the vision be relaxed and open, keeping the sense doors open. And from here, we'll begin with a somatic practice today, but just to chart our course, I'm going to lead us in a body scan to bring in a lot of somatic awareness. Mindfulness directed at the body is one of the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So we can direct our attention into the body. And then we'll take a method of calm abiding for practice today. And the method that we'll use is Om Ahum. So when we get to that step, we'll just be silently saying to ourselves on the inhale, Om, silently, and Ah at the top of that inhale, and Hum, silently to ourselves on that exhale. So we're just naming the cycle of breath of Om, Ah, Hum. And there's that silent space at the bottom, sometimes called the box breath. So Om, Ah, Hum. And we're going to follow the breath in that way. I'll remind you a few times, but that's to stabilize the mind and bring us into a full state of calm abiding. So let's go ahead and begin with our body scan. So for this practice, we'll start just by bringing awareness into the bottom of the feet and letting the hands, I may have missed the hands. What do our hands do? Well, they can rest comfortably in the lap, either palms down, palms up, or in that gesture of equanimity. But we're going to start with the bottom of the feet. So just bringing awareness to the soles of the feet, the heels. And at first, that awareness may be more cognitive, just knowing, okay, this is feet. These are my feet. But going a little deeper into what is the felt sensation in my feet. Perhaps a tingling, temperature, vibration. You may notice as we now scan up through the toes and the top of the feet and the ankles, you may notice that there's parts of the body where there is less information, perhaps a numbness or a lack of clarity about what's being felt. And that's perfectly fine. Just resting awareness there anyway. Noticing the changing conditions now in the lower legs, front and back, shin and calf. Noticing the sensations in the knees, behind the knees. Into the upper legs, the hamstrings, quad muscles on the front of the legs. Now coming into the sits bones, noticing the sensation of where the buttocks meets the seat. Noticing sensations in the pelvic floor, the bowl of the pelvis, the groin. Noticing with each inhale how it's received in this particular part of the body. Noticing, is it received in an open pelvis, tightened pelvis? Coming up into that low belly. low back. Noticing the stomach, the mid-back. Scanning with your awareness right into the center of the chest, the front and back of the body, right at that heart center. Noticing how the breath is being received here. Paying attention to the rise and the fall of the shoulders. The upper back. And now letting awareness just travel right down both arms, from shoulders to the front and back of the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, and let's let awareness just settle for a few moments in the felt sensation of the hands. And now dragging that awareness right up the arms, back up through the hands, the wrists, lower arms, upper arms. Coming back into the neck. Sensing the throat, the spine. And notice how breath is being received here in the throat. Following the felt sensation of breath into the nostrils and the mouth. Letting that awareness spread across the whole face. The ears, the back of the skull. The crown of the head, the top of the scalp. Letting the mind rest in the body and the body fill the mind. Letting awareness fill the whole of the sitting body. Noticing the sensations of the expansion and contraction of the body with the breath. And while mindfully paying attention to the breath in the body, we can now begin our method of stabilizing in the body using Om Ahum as our anchor. On the inhale, silently labeling Om. The top of the inhale, Ah. And on the exhalation, Hum. Bringing body, speech, and mind into balance. So we'll repeat this silently with each breath for the remainder of our practice. Om on the inhale, Ah at the top, Hum at the bottom. For these last few moments of our practice, let's go ahead and drop this method and allow our minds and bodies to just rest. Just letting go of any content. And let's seal this practice in the same way that we began, just a light body scan. Just at your own pace, beginning at the bottom of the feet. And just bringing your mindful attention throughout your body. Noticing from foot to head. Wonderful. And now let's go ahead and bring our hands together in Anjali Mudra, that prayer position right at heart center. Let's dedicate the merits of our practice. May the teachings of the Buddha spread and flourish. May all sentient beings be happy and joyful. May we practice the Dharma day and night, and may the benefits for self and others be fully accomplished. Now, thank you all.
Thank you so much, Laura. It was a wonderful meditation. Thank you. Gosh, I get so relaxed there. I'm kind of like a little spacey when I come out of it. Sorry, guys. All right. Next up, I'm going to read one of the 5 Buddhist precepts. Of course, as Rinpoche always teaches us, we need both wings of the bird, our practice and our study. So I'm going to just start with the first one. Avoid harming other beings, or do not cut the life force. Committed to non-aggression, I resolve to avoid harming others, to avoid injuring the body or mind of myself and others. I resolve conflicts and tensions with an attitude of openness and loving kindness, acknowledging transgressions and seeking reconciliations. I base my dietary choices on compassionate intention rather than taking the attitude that the ends justify the means. I commit to nonviolence as the base, path, and fruit of my actions. I resolve to relieve the suffering of beings wherever I see it and make compassionate connections with everyone, everywhere. That is the first Buddhist precept. Do no harm. So I'm glad you're all here. I'm glad you got to enjoy Laura's meditation leadership. And I just want to leave us here after that reading of the precept with an announcement. I guess that I was looking at the schedule, looking at what's coming up, and gosh, it was right there. February 22nd, the Losar Tibetan New Year celebration for members. So that's on the 22nd. So if you haven't signed up, it'd be a great time. We do a lot of singing, goofing off, practice. It's a great time to be with Rinpoche and the rest of the Sangha. So hope to see you there if you get an opportunity. Otherwise, anybody have any ideas for today? It's a sunny spring day over here. So
we're going to end our, I'm so sorry now. We're going to end our live stream. So I just want to say goodbye to those folks.